Okay, before we dive into the technical rules of this lesson, let's take a moment to step back and look at nature. If you observe the world around us, we see that everything has a name. We identify things by their names. Anything that exists or comes into existence needs a name to be recognized. For example, when a child is born, one of the first gifts they are given is their name. Without that name, we can't call them or refer to them. In the exact same way, in the world of programming, when you create something new like a variable, you must give it a name so that you can call it and use it later. But can we just choose any name we want? Let's look at the rules of naming in nature and language. There are some names that have been reserved by nature itself for a specific thing. For example, words like water, sky. Hmm? Think about it. Have you ever met a person whose name is water? It would be very strange because that name has a fundamental and special meaning. Also, there are certain symbols and characters that we simply don't use when creating names. Could you name a child like this, or like this, or like this? Of course not. Language has its rules. Now let's return to Python. In the exact same way, Python has its own set of rules for naming. Some names like water and sky are reserved, and some symbols are forbidden. In this lesson, we are going to learn these rules and conventions. An identifier is simply the unique name you give to something in your program so you can identify it and use it later. As I mentioned before, but can we name them anything we want? Just like in real life, there are rules. Think about naming a newborn baby. You have a lot of freedom, but there are still rules and conventions you need to follow. Programming language have the exact same concept. Python gives us a lot of freedom to choose our identifiers, but there are a few strict rules we must follow and some conventions that we should follow to be good programmers. Let's go through the official rules for creating a valid identifier in Python. Rule number one, allowed characters. An identifier can only contain letters A to Z, capitals and smalls, and numbers, and the underscore character. That's it. No other symbols like exclamation mark, sharp, dollar sign, or hyphen are allowed. Rule number two, cannot start with a number. An identifier must start with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start with a number. For example, name one is a valid identifier, but one name is invalid and will cause an error. Rule number three, identifiers are case sensitive. This is a critical rule. Python treats uppercase and lowercase letters as completely different. This means that the variable age, and the variable age, like this, are three completely different and separate identifiers in Python. Rule number four, cannot be a Python keyword. Python has a small set of reserved words that have a special meaning in the language. These are called keywords. You cannot use these words as your identifiers. Some examples are for, if, else, while, if, class, true, and false. Okay, let's see these rules in action in VS Code. I will create a new file named identifiers.py. Let's try creating some valid identifiers. First name equal to Hama between double quotation or single quotations. Age 25 equal to 30. Underscore my underscore secret underscore variable equal to, this is a secret. For example, sometimes when in programming we use public key, for example, or secret key, my variable with uppercase equal to true, for example. Print first name, print age 25. These variables are valid identifiers. Now let's intentionally break the rules and see what happens. This is the best way to learn. First, which start with number one, underscore place between double quotation or single quotation goal. First, iPhone name equal to Hama. My dollar sign variable equal to 100. For equal to between double quotation a loop. Look at these variables. As you can see, Python immediately stops and gives us a syntax error. This is Python telling us you have broken one of the fundamental grammar rules of the language. Now, just because an identifier is valid doesn't mean it's good. Professional programmers follow a set of conventions to make their code clean, readable, and understandable. This is one of the biggest differences between a beginner and pro. Convention number one, use descriptive names. Your variable names should describe the data they hold. Instead of a short, cryptic name like X, use a descriptive name like user underscore age or customer underscore name. This makes your code self-documenting. For example, bad practice, X equal to 30. Good practice, user underscore age equal to 30. Convention number two, the snake case style. The official Python style guide called recommends using snake case for variable and function names. This means all letters are lowercase and words are separated by an underscore. For example, recommended Python style snake case. First underscore name, Hama, for example. Items in card equal to 5. In other programming language, for example, like Java, use camel case, for example, like this. Convention number three, consistency is key. The most important thing is to be consistent throughout your entire project. If you start with snake case, use it everywhere. This makes your code predictable and easy to read for you and for others. So to summarize this lesson, identifiers are the names we give to things in our code. There are 4 strict rules you must follow to avoid errors, and a few important conventions you should follow to write clean professional code. Always remember, write your code for humans first and computers second.